Sin City was a revolutionary film from Robert Rodriguez in the year 2005. Sin City, A Dame to Kill For was not. Let's find out what happened in the 2014 follow-up movie and why it fell so short of its predecessor. Right after this, roll the song.
We all love the first one, but the second movie sucked. Trying to catch lightning in a bottle 2 times takes a lot of luck. Brian, Tim, and Dave are watching movies that are lame. These are the sequels that aren't equal.
Hello and welcome to Sequels That Aren't Equal, the podcast that looks at beloved major motion pictures that get follow-up films that fall well short of the mark. I am Brian.
I'm Dave.
Tim, nice to meet you.
We hope they've met us by now, seeing as how we're about 10 episodes into this thing, but thank you for joining us on the show today. Today we are talking Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. Does not have the number 2 in the title.
That's where this movie belongs, in a colon.
In the colon.
Yeah.
Once again, another stinker for you guys, but let's talk about the original 2005 classic Sin City. Written and directed by Frank Miller and Robert Rodriguez. It was based off of the graphic novel series by Frank Miller. It starred a deep bench of talent. You had Mickey Rourke, kind of in his comeback performance.
This was the comeback one, right?
This is pre-wrestler.
Oh, 100.
Yeah. No, this
Okay.
is his, like Matthew McConaughey, the reconnaissance.
Okay, so this is America
his...
going, have we been sleeping on Mickey Rourke?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So and he is amazing in it.
Yeah.
So you got Mickey Rourke, you got Bruce Willis, Jessica Alba, always radiant, terrible actress, but my heavens, she looks amazing. You got Clive Owens, you got Benicio del Toro, Rosario Dawson, Elijah Woods, Michael Clark Duncan, Powers Booth, Carla Gugino looking amazing in this film. Oh, yeah. Rutger Hauer, and many others.
Brittany Murphy.
Oh, thank you, Brittany Murphy.
Murph.
She was great in that.
Oh, yeah.
So, a ton of...
Did you mention Josh Hartnett?
I was about to say Hartnett, of course.
Where you been at, dude? Come on. Where you been at?
We've brought up Hartnett before. We on this show are Hartnett fans.
Yeah.
We heart Hartnett, and we are ready for America to rediscover the Hartnett and bring him back. You're right. He was actually in the first one. Now, that scene with Josh Hartnett and the actress who I am not familiar with, that was actually filmed by Robert Rodriguez on his own dime to show to Frank Miller the technology and the look that would be involved in doing Sin City, because Frank Miller was actually kind of hesitant to do this project. So, it's a simple little scene between 2 actors. Robert Rodriguez, of course, filmed that scene, showed it to him, is like, this is kind of what I want to do. Frank Miller's like, oh, wait, this is amazing. And so that's kind of the scene that actually got it going. It was produced by Dimension Films, Miramax, the Weinstein brothers, totally nothing problematic there whatsoever. It had a budget of $40 million, so that's a very, very modest budget for a film with a cast that stacked.
Yeah.
And from that $40 million, it made a $158 million box office. The only awards I see that it won is that it did screen at the Cannes Film Festival, where it won an award in technical achievement, and the MTV Movie Awards gave sexiest performance to Jessica Alba.
That's true. That's
fair enough.
Yeah,
That tracks.
Yeah. That tracks. So this is based on the serialized comic book series Sin City, published by Dark Horse Comics. By Frank Miller, as I said. It's actually like an anthology title called Dark Horse Comics Presents, and then he would release these kind of serialized in that book occasionally, starting as early as 1994. And then the first film covers 4 of his storylines. He based them on like pulp noir and films from like the 40s. And, they were popular, but of course, Frank Miller his most popular work, I would assume, the thing that really put him on the map was probably 1986, The Dark Knight Returns. Were you a comic book guy in the 80s?
Oh yeah, I love comic books.
Were you familiar with Dark Knight Returns?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was familiar with that. But didn't he also do The Watchmen too?
No,
A different guy. Who was that?
That's Alan Moore.
Alan Moore. That's right. Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
But those are like the two graphic novels that defined comics. I feel like is you had The Dark Knight Returns and Watchmen.
Oh, absolutely. That was like comic books growing up. That's comic books. Oh, this is no longer kid stuff. This is literature, basically. I mean, that's how important Dark Knight was. It never went out of print. It's still in print to this day, 30-something years later. And I, of course, was obsessed with it. It's about kind of like an older retired Batman who comes out of retirement to, kind of help Gotham one more time as there's like this resurgence of this gang of mutants and the Joker's in it. And it's just, dude, it's incredible. But he actually got started writing comic books in the 70s. And then into the early 80s, he was like a prominent artist on the Daredevil book series. And he's actually the guy that came up with the character of Elektra. What's her name made that terrible movie?
Jennifer Garner.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Jennifer Garner.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, Jennifer Garner starred as Elektra in that really bad movie. Well, Frank Miller came up with the Elektra character for the Daredevil series. Following Dark Knight in 86, of course, there's Batman Year One in 87, which is another just incredible short story, run about Batman's first year. That's actually what Darren Aronofsky was going to turn into his Batman movie before it fell apart. Could you imagine if we would have gotten Darren Aronofsky?
That would have been great.
That would have been really good.
I wonder if it would have had any ass-to-ass scenes in it.
Ass-to-ass.
But no, that comic book's absolutely incredible. And then, of course, he went on to write The 300 in 1998, and then that got made
That was a great movie.
An amazing movie that put Zack Snyder on the map.
Well, I would say his
his 2004
remake of Dawn of the
Dawn of the
Dead.
Dead, that was his debut, which was solid.
Yeah.
I mean, that was really good.
Great movie.
Yeah,
great,
but then
great
that
remake
movie-
to a movie that probably shouldn't have had a remake.
Yeah.
And he nailed it.
Yeah, I was going to say, on paper, that should have been terrible, right? You're remaking a Romero
The
classic.
best zombie movie ever.
Yeah, it just should have been terrible, but I agree. 2004's Dawn of the Dead is amazing.
Yeah, it's
if you
fun.
haven't
Really
seen
good.
it, you should really try it out. But you're right, that really put Snyder on the map, and then he follows it up with 300, and then that's when everyone's like, oh, this dude arrived. And then Frank Miller also wrote the scripts for RoboCop 2 and 3.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Oh, we did the third one too?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
And I have to admit, that's a film that probably will appear on this podcast in the future. I kind of don't mind RoboCop 2, actually. I think that's
I like
sort of...
RoboCop too. Yeah.
That's a fun one, but RoboCop 3,
Reason.
that's a stinker. So we should probably touch upon RoboCop.
It might have been the execution, not the writing, though.
No, it's really bad.
Oh, is it?
Although that's another one where the studio interfered, as we talked
Oh,
about.
you're
on the
kidding
tape.
me. What?
Became PG-13.
Yeah, the studio insisted it
Hey,
had
a
to be
lot of kids are
PG-13.
watching these and playing with the toys.
Yeah,
Maybe not
because it's
so
rated
hard
R. That's why.
Let's
Yeah, that's
why.
maybe not hard R this time.
Yeah, by that time, the RoboCop cartoon series had already come out. The RoboCop video game, which I remember playing at 7-Eleven.
Why do we make left-brain people make decisions about all? Why do we do that?
But yeah, I have a feeling that the script for RoboCop 3 probably wasn't the best either.
He might have melded in, man. You know what
I
I'm saying?
kind of have a
Melded
feeling he
in.
did. And then he actually followed up the Dark Knight comic book with 2 more Dark Knight series. Dark Knight Strikes Again in 2001. Oh, I'm sorry, 3 more. Dark Knight Strikes Again 2001. Dark Knight Master Race in 2015, and Dark Knight Golden Child in 2019.
Oh, with Eddie Murphy?
Did either of you guys read the follow-ups?
No.
I read the first follow-up and it was awful.
It was so bad I couldn't finish it.
The
so
Batman
I
Army-
finished reading that one. I didn't read any of the other.
The Batman I remember most is Killing Joke. I like Killing Joke. I don't know who wrote that. but
Alan Moore.
Alan
The guy who
Moore.
wrote
Okay, right.
Watchmen.
Yeah. I knew he had
Yeah,
something to do.
those two
I knew
really-
he had a Batman
yeah.
in there. All right.
Yeah, Alan Moore and Frank Miller definitely.
The
two of
Killing
top.
Joke's great.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, Robert Rodriguez, of course, decides he wants to make this film. And let's talk a minute about Robert Rodriguez, because if you're Gen X and if you love film, you most definitely know the name
He's a
Robert
god.
Rodriguez. He is seriously always in the same breath with Tarantino, Kevin Smith, Soderbergh, these like guys that came up early 90s, really redefined film. especially as a filmmaker, as we all are, he's super inspirational because his debut feature film, he's self-funded. He actually signed himself up to be a medical experiment subject.
The best book about making a movie, I think.
Yeah, Rebel Without a Crew. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's one of the best all-time books ever.
If you're at all interested in filmmaking, read Rebel Without a Crew.
It's a great read.
It is amazing.
It's a great read all the way around.
No, it is.
In the film or not, it's a great read.
Yeah.
One of my all-time fave books.
So, his story is fairy tale, right? He sells his body for medical science, makes, his El Mariachi, his debut film, makes it for $7,000, all calling in favors, makes it in Mexico so he can do everything on the cheap, does everything himself, the sound, lighting, camera, everything except the acting. It's a big hit, and it really launches his career. And he is a very energetic filmmaker. He knows where to put the camera. He works well with actors. Actually has a very wide, breadth of interest, because besides these action films, of course, he made the Spy Kids movies, Shark Boy and Lava Girl, and among them was this 2005 film, Sin City. And he said that he wanted it to be not an adaptation of the comic books. He said he wanted it to be a translation of the comic books. He wanted to take the comic books and literally translate them to the screen. He knew he had the technology to do it. It had to be green screen. There's no way that this could be photographed conventionally, because, it was filmed in such a way that lights and shadows and colors absolutely could not work that way in the real world. It's highly, highly impressionistic. And so he actually went through, they picked 4 comic book issues, wrote them into the story, and he used the comic books as the storyboards to film the movie. And in the end said he wanted to co-credit Frank Miller as co-director. And the Directors Guild of America says you can't do that. You can't have 2 directors on a film. It has to be, you, unless you're an established director partnership, but you cannot credit Frank Miller on this thing. It has to be you. And Robert Rodriguez actually quit the DGA over this. He's like, no, I want to make this film. I want to co-credit Frank Miller because he did direct it. He directed it from the page when he wrote it, and he stuck to his guns. He quit the DGA over it, and that's how we got Sin City 1, 2005. So Tim, tell me about your relationship to Sin City. How did you like it? 2005's Sin City.
Well, I immediately bought it on DVD when it came out, so I just knew I was a big fan. I've probably seen it like 2 or 3 times in theaters. I thought it was a masterpiece. Definitely we were going to some place we'd never been before. It's kind of like almost like Tron back in the early 80s. It kind of had that vibe, like here's something you've never seen before. It's going to be badass. You're going to fall in love with it. And so that's my experience with it. When I first seen it, I wanted to see it immediately again. And of course, I was there at Circuit City waiting for, that Tuesday morning when, all new releases came out to get a copy of Sin City. Probably had it on hold, how you request and prepay and all that. So I probably did that move. I did that with a lot of movies back then, but yeah, I'm a huge fan of that movie.
Yes, well, and the DVD release was awesome because Robert Rodriguez was always a director who was very heavy into special features. So he packed that DVD with all kinds of making ofs and behind the scenes stuff. And then he actually recut it to be in story order because it's kind of, like I said, it's 4 stories, it's 4 issues, but they're all blended up and it kind of hops between the stories. And then in the DVD release, you can actually watch it by story. Did you ever do it that way?
I don't know. I don't think I ever did.
It's not as impactful. It really is nice to see them all kind of blend together like that. But yeah, no, it's an amazing film. I also saw it in theaters, loved it right away, bought it right away on DVD when it came out. I loved it. Dave, what's your memories of it?
Oh, absolutely love it. First I just wanted to talk comic book adaptation for a sec, because it is, this one, it could have been terrible, because it is hard to take directly from the pages to the screen, especially when they try so hard to be literal. If we look at Batman, I think the best example of kind of blending comic book with reality would probably be Tim Burton's, because there's definitely not our world, kind of giant weird statue sculpture, so it feels not of the time. It's a weird, that Art Deco, all that kind of look, the impressionist look. So I think it kind of nailed the, not too comic booky, not too reality, and then you have the Schumacher ones where it's like, yeah, it's a comic book, make it colorful, crazy, and so it tried to be more comic booky,
Right.
and it's bad. It's just really bad. And then you had, then going the other way, and
Like
I think
the X-Men.
well, yeah, or that one where it's like, make it all black leather, and then, because we don't want it to look like the comic book. But yeah, like with Batman, then if you go like Nolan, it was now more real looking, but still had kind of comic booky, like the Tumblr's not really something, it felt like that's more comic book world, some of his gadgets, but it was definitely more reality, and then, which I loved, but then you had the Batman, which I felt went too far real, to where it kind of lost some of its kind of comic booky vibe.
2021 Matt Reeves film.
Matt Reeves, which I do enjoy. It's very long, maybe a little too long, but I enjoyed it. But yeah, it felt like now it's maybe too real. Like I couldn't see Mudface in that world, or Dr. Freeze in that world. And then, one movie that came out shortly after Batman is the 1990 Dick Tracy, where it's like, we want this to look like a comic book, and it's terrible. With Warren Beatty.
Yes.
I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it's not great.
No, it's terrible.
I've seen it one time. I think it's the only time I've ever seen it.
Yeah, but you're right. I mean, Sin City could have been a disaster because trying to make a living comic book certainly can fail miserably. Dick Tracy, classic example. And then Frank Miller himself tried to recreate lightning in a bottle after Sin City with that movie, The Spirit, where he didn't write the original comic book. It was like a famous Eisner comic book from the 40s, but he wrote the script and directed the what was probably around 2009. It was probably about 3-4 years after this Sin City, where again he tried to do it in the Sin City style without Robert Rodriguez, lighting out on his own. And if you look at The Spirit, it looks like Sin City. I mean, it's doing the same graphical treatment. It is terrible. In fact, I forgot that movie existed and that I had seen it until Dave brought it up in research for this, and I pulled up a trailer going, that movie doesn't exist. And then I saw an image of Samuel L. Jackson looking like Mr. Mugatu from Zoolander, and it like jarred a memory loose in my brain going, oh my God, not only do I know this movie exists, but I saw it. It was terrible. So yeah, on paper, Sin City could have been a huge, colossal flop, but I don't know, man. Like all the puzzle pieces fell into place. It clicked. Yes, of course, the acting is highly, highly stylized. It has to be because the images are so out of this world that everyone, the overacting, the extreme violence, the extreme graphical treatment where there's shots that are in complete silhouette, but what I call like reverse silhouette, where they're white on a background. And like I said, just things that absolutely could not happen in the real world or be photographed in the real world. Highly impressionistic. And yet all these puzzle pieces fit together to make a great movie. And it was very critically acclaimed. Like even the critics liked the original Sin City film.
Yeah, no, I loved it. I was excited for it. I hadn't read the comics before, and actually still never read them. But I was really excited because the trailer was like really cool looking and just that style, and was like so excited. Went on this big group date, which was probably not the best choice of movie for a date, but whatever. It was a great movie though. But yeah, I loved it and thought it was just amazing. And the look, the style, the acting, it was good because it's some like Bruce Willis was great. Like his performance is solid, and then the Mickey Rourke, which because he's got like the prosthetics, he looks comic booky, cartoony. And that could have been real bad, and he was so good, such a great performance. And so you have some like wild, like Rosario Dawson, who I don't know if we mentioned was in it. Yeah, she's got some crazy outfits like the Old Town Girls, and just like it could have just not worked and just been bad. But somehow, like you said, the puzzle pieces magically all fit. Like their acting, the costume, everything fit, and it could have been real bad.
Yes,
and but instead it was really, really good.
It was real good. And then it took them 9 years to go back to the well to try to do another one. Did you, in your research, find out why it took so long to get the second one off the ground?
I know there was some hang-ups involving the Weinsteins. Not sure exactly. I know that there was issues with the script, as far as they didn't, I guess, or want all of the same or like original stories. So some of the stories were actually new, written by Frank Miller. The one with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, like that was a new one added, which was kind of a weak story. So they wanted to punch it up, because I mean, one of the problems for Sin City 2 is that they did cherry pick the best stories, I feel like, to make the first movie.
Right, that is true. Going back to the well, you've already plucked the lowest hanging fruit. Yeah.
So yeah, they got those. So then it's like, well, now we're kind of left with the rest, and still good. Some better than others, but yeah, they weren't like the banger stories that they did of the first one.
Absolutely. So, Sin City 2. Well, it's actually not called Sin City 2. It is officially called Sin City: A Dame to Kill For. A Dame to Kill For is one of the stories that appeared in the Sin City series, and even the first movie did not take these stories in this series in order. They were told out of order. There are some stories in this sequel film that actually take place before other stories you see in the first movie. So in the Sin City series, all of those stories are in chronological order, and they're all in the same universe and share the same characters. In these movies, we're just plucking stories and having them very much be out of time. So there are stories in this one that take place pre-stories you see in the first one, but like you said, they already had cherry-picked the best ones. So a lot of reoccurring characters, a lot of reoccurring actors, although some roles have been recast. We'll discuss who and why here in a moment. So returning for, or now starring in Sin City 2014, A Dame to Kill For, you got Mickey Rourke returning, Jessica Alba, Rosario Dawson, Jamie King. She played Goldie in the first one. More of a model than an actress, but she returns. Powers Booth returns. He was so good in the first one. He's back. Bruce Willis is back. And those are the returning characters, and then returning actors. And then you've got some characters that were recast. So you've got Josh Brolin playing Dwight, who was played by Clive Owens in the first one. And I couldn't really find any reason online why Clive Owens didn't return. I mean, in 2014, his star had already kind of started to wane, so you would think he'd want to come back to this property.
So with that one, they both play the character Dwight. And in the first movie, they make mention of like not recognizing him because of his new face. So it makes sense that they had a new actor playing Dwight, because his scene takes place before his face surgery. So we actually see the plastic surgery happening in the, A Dame to Kill For. But then it was supposed to be then Clive Owen after he has the surgery. But yeah, Clive Owen was busy with The Knack. I think, was that the Nick? Yeah, the Nick,
which was like a made-for-cable show
series. Yeah, the Nick. So yeah, he was like, oh, I'm unavailable. So they just like put some silly prosthetics on Josh Brolin's face, and we were supposed to act like, whoa, what? Who's this guy? So it didn't work.
No,
it was terrible.
And it's funny, as I was watching this, because I hadn't seen Sin City in a while, and Dwight, I don't know, it just didn't register for me. It took me a long time to realize, oh crap, that's Clive Owens.
Yeah.
Character. So yeah. Okay, so you're saying that the original intention was to have Clive Owen kind of slip in and bridge the gap post-plastic surgery, which makes sense because there is a line later when he shows up post-surgery and everyone's like, oh, who's this? And then, the one guy's like, I recognize your eyes.
Yeah, whereas like, his hair's a little different. They put like a little fake chin stick out. And yeah, it's supposed to be like, yeah, who's this guy?
Oh, okay. All right. So he got recast. Dennis Haysbert filling in for Michael Clark Duncan, unfortunately, because he had passed away at that point. And then you've got Jeremy Piven playing the same cop that should have been Michael Madsen.
Yeah.
And is that just because Michael Madsen's life was in total disorder at that point?
It might have been. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine him turning it down. So, yeah, he must have just been, well, I'm in rehab right now or whatever.
Got it.
And then sadly, the character Shelley, played by Brittany Murphy, that character would have been in these some of these stories, but out of respect to the passing of Brittany Murphy, they just took that character out. So they did not recast Shelley.
Yeah, man, what a loss, dude. Brittany Murphy, man.
Yeah, man, Brittany Murphy's awesome. Her and 8 Mile is great.
Yeah, I mean, beautiful, but also just so talented. Great presence on screen. You know, has that real girl next door vibe appeal to her, and then, you know, to have her tragically pass so young. I think she was 32.
Yeah.
And, you know, between Sin City 1 and 2, yeah, she passed. In the end, did they determine it was the black mold, or are we still like, we don't know what it was?
I believe there's a new documentary out about it.
There is on Netflix.
Or HBO. I don't know if it's like wild conspiracy theory ones or not. I think I'd read that they determined it wasn't the black mold, but it is like there's something weird, because it was like her and her fiance died, was it like 6 months or 6 months apart?
Both from pneumonia, and both in their early 30s.
Yeah.
Wow, really, what a loss, what a shame. And then, of course, we've got some new characters, some new actors joining us. We've got Joseph Gordon-Levitt. What's your take on him? Do you like him? Is he good? I haven't decided.
He's okay. I feel he's a bit overrated as an actor. I mean, I don't hate him, but, you know, yeah, he's okay. I mean, I know he was loved, you know, as like the kid in Third Rock from the Sun, and, you know, he's had his few indie darling films, the 500 Days of Summer, stuff like that.
That's a sad-ass movie, man.
So, you know, he's okay, but yeah, I'm not. I feel like Inception, that his character, he probably was going to be played by Heath Ledger. I feel like. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just how I feel, because they have a very similar kind of look. You see them pictures side by side. There's some similarities. And Heath Ledger's a lot better actor.
Much better.
You know, so yeah, I mean, he's all right in Inception. He's not terrible.
Yeah, he's just kind of there. That's my take wherever he shows up. And then apparently he made a really weird ode to masturbation movie.
Yeah, the Don Juan or whatever.
Yeah, it played at Sundance. Did you ever hear about that?
I think I have, yeah.
Yeah, he's like a porn addict and just is really pro masturbation.
No, I never really watched it, though.
Okay, well, I'm sure he's a big fan of the Houston 500.
Surprised me. I haven't never seen that movie.
Call back to a previous
I've never seen
I have the poster up in my room.
You don't have the A24 T-shirt for the masturbation movie? I'm shocked, I tell you. All right,
was that A24?
All right, so you know, you got Ray Liotta playing a corrupt politician. He's great in this one.
Yeah.
You've got Christopher Lloyd showing up to play the plastic surgeon that you mentioned. He's always great. Oh yeah, Jamie Chung replaced Devin Aoki. Am I saying her name right? The famous DJ's sister, because I guess she was pregnant. And then you've got like Christopher Maloney, TV's Christopher Maloney, Stacy Keach, and then you've got Lady Gaga in a very distracting cameo performance, because it's like you got Lady Gaga and she shows up for like 10 seconds. He's like, "Hey, can I have a glass of water? Here you go." And then that's Lady Gaga.
Yeah, so that was her second movie appearance. Her first one, she was in his Grindhouse, Robert Rodriguez's, what was that, Planet Terror? Yeah, so that was her, no, I'm sorry, Machete.
Machete.
She was in Machete.
And was Machete, Machete would have been pre-Sin City 2.
Yeah, sorry, wrong Grindhouse, because there was that prequel that then, or the trailer became a feature, movie, and she was in that. So yeah, I guess he's just, I don't know, it's called in as a favor, because she wasn't really actress at that time.
No, and she wasn't an actress in that. She just hands Joseph Gordon-Levitt a glass of water.
Or like she wasn't really known for act. Now she's done quite a bit, and you know, feature films and TV. So yeah, that was definitely, I think, kind of a stunt casting by Rodriguez. Hey, you want to call in a favor?
Yeah, let's be honest though. Star is Born. Yeah, it's a good movie, Bradley. Hey, I just want to look at you one more time. You know, that's my favorite.
Didn't you say you have a Lady Gaga impersonation?
Oh yeah, Lady Gaga impersonation. But you know, think about what Lady Gaga's does in Sin City 2. So it's I'm in a sequel that isn't equal. I'm far from the Oscar now. Boom. That's my song right there. I thought it was pretty good. It's all right. I put the title of the show in it. You know, and she won an Oscar for Star is Born, right? And they went for like best song. I feel like they did.
I think it did, didn't it?
Yeah, somebody check it, yeah.
All right.
Another couple notable small roles. Juno Temple.
Oh, you're right.
Juno Temple, yeah. I'm a big fan of hers.
Julia Garner.
Oh, you're right.
Who, from Ozark and all that. Yeah, she was his Joseph Gordon-Levitt's lucky arm candy girl or whatever.
Right.
And I was like, oh, hey, she went on because she was a nobody.
She was an absolute nobody. That was one of her first credits.
Yeah, so she wasn't.
That show, Secretary, is
like,
pretty good too. So I think it's on Amazon. Secretary.
I haven't seen that.
She's also in a movie with where she plays like a sister with like blonde hair, and it's like a horror psychology movie. It's pretty good. I can't think of the name of it, but it's good.
And if you recall our Rosemary's Baby episode, she is the star of the Rosemary's Baby prequel series movie that still to this day hasn't been officially announced, but she is in IMDb as being the star of that Apartment 7A, if I recall correctly. Anyway, watch that episode for that scoop. It had a very deep bench of actors, principal actors, and then supporting role, like you said. Budget of $65 million.
There's one other actress you have not mentioned yet, Brian, that we must.
Ooh. Wait, who did I miss?
Eva Green. Brian. Eva Green.
How did I miss Eva Green?
Yeah,
Eva Green.
So you know the original poster for A Dame to Kill For was actually censored by the MPAA because it's Eva Green in like a sheer nightie. You can see a little bit of nipplage. She's French, right? So the French people, they're very comfortable with being naked. She doesn't care. She spends like half this movie naked.
Yeah.
Like French people are so comfortable being naked, they must have been born naked or something.
Yeah, crazy, right?
They are just
you could be born naked.
always naked. Wow. And so she was in a poster that was too racy for the MPAA, and they actually made them not use it, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, because they're like, well, all the footage we have of her is her.
Yeah,
like, what are we supposed to do?
We can't pull a still where she's clothed.
Yeah, like there's not many of that.
That's false advertising.
That is some false advertising. My God, how can I forget that? And she really was excellent in this. And I'm not saying that in a dirty way. Yeah, she's pretty, she's hot, she's almost always naked. But like, she's actually legitimately a very good actress. Great screen presence. And this is kind of... Wait, when did she do James Bond? This is post-Bond.
Which one was she in? Is she in Casino Royale?
I think so.
Because, that would have been 08?
Okay.
6,
yeah. And that was really kind of what brought her into the American market, right? Because she was a very established French actress for many years and then kind of broke into the U.S. market.
Yeah, so I think it would have been, James Bond.
Got it. Well, she is the titular Dame to Kill For in this film, and I can't believe, here she is right here on my notes, and she's very, very good in this. So, as I was saying, budget $65 million, box office $39 million, dude. They took a bath on this film.
And Brian, that $39 million is the worldwide number.
I know.
Domestic was $13 million.
That is insane. For a movie with that stacked of a cast to make $13 million, I am shocked.
Yeah, I looked up, so that week, because it came out kind of late August of 2014, and that week, its weekly rank, it was number 8.
That movie opened at number 8.
Ooh, what was out during this time?
So you had a holdover of a few weeks of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Of course, yeah.
And then a couple week holdover of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. And then, some random new stuff. There was like Let's Be Cops, beat it out.
Wow, Let's Be Cops.
This film got beat by Let's Be Cops.
Yeah.
This is not a bad movie. I like it.
Yeah, it's just fine. Couple people from, New Girl cast made a movie. But that beat this incredibly stacked cast, sequel to a very well-liked, loved movie. So I'm actually kind of surprised this failed as bad as it did.
Yeah, what was the problem?
Well, that's what we're here to analyze. That's what we're here to pick apart. So, what is your initial hot take on Sin City: Dame to Kill For?
I mean, when I first watched it, didn't like it. I was like, oh, this movie sucks. But then when I watched it the second time, I was like, is it really as bad as I thought it was in the beginning? Now, did Frank Miller have more say-so than Robert Rodriguez making this? What happened? I don't know what happened in that dynamic, because they both... Like, Frank Miller was on set more for this one, correct?
No, he was on set for the first one entirely.
Okay,
well.
gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know what the problem was. I mean, but, on the second watching, I liked it better than I did the first time watching it. I will be honest. I did.
Okay, that's actually exactly my take as well. So I saw this in the theaters in 2014 because, of course, I was very excited for it. Loved the first one. So I'm like, I'm on board. Let's go. And while I was watching it in the theater, I was actively hating it while I was watching it. I was like, this is terrible. I don't like this movie. It's like something is wrong here. It's like a pod person version of the legitimate movie. It felt like an imposter. I know it's hard to put my finger on. So that, yes, I literally did not watch it for 9 years since until I had to rewatch it for this film. And yeah, rewatching it a second time, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's definitely better than I remember. I don't hate it. It's just a pale comparison to the first one. Would I have liked this movie if the first one never existed? I would have liked it more than I do, but it's still just not as good as the first one. The first one is electric. The performances are electric. I think also a big part is that the graphics were so groundbreaking. Like you said, you as you were watching it, you're like, this is something I've never seen before. And, you know, you just can't recapture that feeling, right? Like, you can't go home again. As you're watching this, it's like, yep, that looks exactly like the last one. They have not added one, you know, thing to their bag of tricks for this one. So, you know, I feel like we're just kind of retreading the same ground, except we've already pulled out the best nuggets the first time around. You know, what was your impression?
Yeah, I agree with you on I thought a similar thing where I was like, okay, if the first one didn't happen and this was the first one, would I have liked it more? I would have.
Yes.
You know, because, yeah, the first one really is groundbreaking, and I think also looking back, so it came out, 2005. So, and this is one of the first films even just shot fully digitally.
Correct,
really
it was.
I mean, there was Collateral, I know, was shot digitally, and 28 Days Later, and then the Star Wars new trilogy.
Two, not the first one.
Yeah, the first one was still film. So yeah, shooting digitally was still very whoa.
It was very new.
Mystique. In fact, that's why Quentin Tarantino did the guest director on the first film. You know, because he did the scene with where it's Benicio del Toro is in the car.
Yeah, his gun misfires and he's like dead in the car with Dwight.
Yeah, so that scene, Tarantino did that because, he was like, I don't want to see video, what shooting digitally is like.
Yes, and good point. I forgot to bring that up. Quentin Tarantino, because they had already left the DGA at that point, they actually did a credit that had never been seen before, which was guest director. So in the first one, in the credits, it says guest director Quentin Tarantino. He didn't direct the whole thing. He didn't even direct one of the 4 segments entirely. He directed a scene of one of the segments. Yes, and like you said, it was really just because he was talking to Rodriguez, and he's like, come out on set. You can direct for a couple days just to get your, hands under the hood and see what this whole digital technology is all about. Because Quentin was obviously very interested in it. He did it, and then afterwards it's like, no, that's not for me, and has never shot digital since.
Yeah, and one of the only other movies made like it, which came out right before, which I love, and most people don't, was The Sky Captain and the World of Tomorrow.
Oh, I dig Sky Captain.
I love it. A lot of people don't, but where that's another one where it's made almost entirely just, in a green room.
Yes.
So, with this movie, I think that, and I wonder if maybe that was some of the mystique, because, I mean, this is a very impressive cast, first and second movie. I'm wondering if people were, as actors, were like, well, I kind of want to experience this. What's it like being, because it was like, come out to my warehouse in Austin.
Right.
My house is right here. We're shooting at his house, basically.
Yeah, like a barn on his yard.
In a green room, there was very little physical, and you could shoot out real quick. I think Brittany Murphy, I think it was shot in a day, all of her stuff. And you had where characters who have scenes together didn't even see each other, Mickey Rourke and Elijah Wood.
Yeah, Elijah Wood
didn't meet until the premiere. They literally have a fight scene together.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if maybe that was the intrigue. I'm wondering if people were like, oh, well, this seems like an intriguing idea. I want to see how this works or how it's like. Whereas now, every Marvel DC movie is probably every big movie is you walk into a green room and everything's fake. And
right.
But at the time, this was really groundbreaking stuff.
Yeah, I didn't even consider that. You're right. This would have been one of the first movies shot entirely in a green screen.
Yeah. And so, so the first one is so groundbreaking. Yeah. And then you watch the second one and you're like, all right, we've now seen it. And we've had, that 300 came out very similar and was like, oh, that's amazing. So the mystique, because I think also this would have been better, or maybe more like if it came out 2008.
Okay, I was just about to make that point. Yeah, it was just too stale.
So, what was it, 9 years?
9 years.
So that's a long time. especially for this. So it's like, and nothing new, groundbreaking visually. Right. In fact, I think it was more color, which I didn't like. Like some people were just full color, whereas last time it'd be lipstick or someone's eyes. This one had more color, which I don't know if it was why, but it didn't work as well for me.
No, that's a great point. I think the fact that it came out, so if the exact same movie had come out 5 years earlier, I think it would have been a little better received.
Yeah.
But just the fact that it was sat on for so long that people are like, yeah, you're just redoing what you've already done. We're already used to this technology. So what?
So yeah, I think there's no longer groundbreaking. It's no, and like we said, like the story-wise, just the stories aren't as good. So yeah, I think, I think I saw it just the once in theater, and then, I don't even think I saw it on video until watching it for this show. Whereas I know the first one I've seen probably 3 or 4 times.
Oh, absolutely. No, it was literally the second time I ever saw this film was for this show.
Yeah.
And will I ever see it again after the show? No, never. There's no reason to.
Nah.
Okay, so let's kind of talk about, there's like 4 stories that intertwine. 2 of them are from the original book series in the 90s. 2 of them were newly written for this film. We'll just kind of cover them at like the 30,000 foot view. If there are any scenes within these that you guys want to call out, please stop me. It starts off with Marv. Mickey Rourke returning as Marv, the best character from both movies. And he's like waking up. He's not sure what's going on. He's trying to retrace his steps. He's wearing a coat he doesn't remember. He remembers seeing some like college kids setting a bum on fire, which is crazy because I rewatched Sin City 1 right after this, and Marv even makes a reference to Sin City, the place where, guys will set a bum on fire just to watch him burn or something. So I'm like, oh wow, here we are 9 years later and we're seeing the scene that got referred to there. So,
and doesn't he make a reference about the jacket as well that he gets? But it mentions in the first one something about. I remember he had a lot of like, ooh, that's a nice jacket.
Yes. So it's just a quick little scene where Marv attacks the guys who attacked the bum, and then the Old Town prostitutes kind of get involved, help them take him down, and it's just like a quick little scene. And that is that one. And then we start, and these do kind of intertwine as Sin City stories do, but then the next one involves the Joseph Gordon-Levitt character. This is new, written for this movie, and it's just really a story that doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it's just kind of weak.
It's just weak. So you've got Senator Rourke, Powers Booth, coming back. He's great.
Oh, yeah, I love Booth.
Powers Booth, one of the best parts of both of these movies, of course. And Powers Booth plays, a corrupt senator. And then this guy, Johnny, is like this kind of plucky upstart kid. And he comes into the bar and he goes into the back room where they're having the poker game, and he plays poker against them. And he beats Rourke in the poker game, and everyone's like, oh, you don't do that. You always let Rourke win. And he's like, whatever, I don't care. And so he leaves. So he takes Marcy, who was a waitress from the bar, played by Julia Garner, out on the town. Would that have been Shelley? I don't know. But anyway, after he beats Rourke in the card game, they
Powers Booth, right?
Yeah, Rourke is Powers Booth. His brother was the priest, played by Rutger Hauer in the first one, so those two were the Rourke brothers, but Rutger Hauer's dead, so he didn't return in this one. They walk the streets, and then they get jumped, put into a limo, and the goons beat up Johnny, and Rourke breaks his fingers. He's like, oh, don't you ever, embarrass me in front of others.
Embarrass him in front of the people that always let him win.
Yes, it's very
basically
embarrassing.
Donates money to the guy. It's the same dudes back there playing. So every week they're taking their hard-earned money just to get beat by this guy. Doesn't make any sense.
No, I know. Yeah.
Like really? That's the storyline we're going. You let him win. So basically, all those other guys in there are just basically letting this guy win
every time.
Yeah,
and they all know it, and he knows.
Yeah. Is it for charity? We just don't know it, or what?
Well, they're all cops, and so I think this is kind of their way of bribing him.
Okay,
I didn't just hand him money.
Yeah, I lost
it.
it.
I lost it in a
Okay, I
card
like
game.
that. I like that.
I don't
excuse.
know.
I can deal with that.
So anyway, they throw Johnny out of the limo, and then Johnny is like, you know what? I'm your son. And Rourke is like, yeah, I know. I recognize you. You're one of my many bastard sons. You think I care? But he's like, I'm not going to kill you because I enjoy watching you suffer. And then he gets back in the limo and drives off, and Rourke shakes his fist and vows revenge. Or Johnny vows revenge on Rourke, and that is what we'll see later. So then we start the Dame to Kill For story, and this is really where we stay with it most of the time. And it starts off with Dwight, and he's like a private eye who's been hired to spy on a politician who's cheating on his wife. The politician is played by Ray Liotta. He looks coked out of his mind, as he did in Goodfellas.
Yeah, just right off the set of Goodfellas into this one.
Karen, where's the money, Karen?
And he is having sex with a prostitute, Sally, which is played by Juno Temple. And then finally, he decides, after the politician decides, after he finishes up with the prostitute, that he's going to kill her so that she doesn't, I don't know, I don't know why a prostitute needs to die, but he's scared that she's going to tell on him for cheating or whatever. So he pulls a gun and he's going to shoot her, and Dwight is observing all of this from the window. So he saves the prostitute. Dwight gets home, and then he gets a call from Ava Lord, played by Eva Green, who he says is his, ex-girlfriend. Oh, that's a voice I never thought I'd hear again, whatever. The whole thing is very hard-boiled, as these things are. And she begs him to come to the bar, Katie's. And he's like, no, I don't want anything to do with you. But she's like, no, you gotta hear me out. So he goes and he meets with her. And she's like, oh, my husband, he's very abusive towards me. And then my husband's manservant is Manute, which is the large African-American gentleman played by Michael Clark Duncan in the first one, now Dennis Haysbert in this one. And he, catches up to him and threatens Dwight, saying, you stay away from this girl, and pulls her away. Marv is watching all this from the bar, and he steps in and says, hey, is this guy giving you trouble? Like he's going to get in a fight with Manute. But, Dwight says, no, stand down. And Manute takes Ava away with him.
Yes, I like Dennis Haysbert, but it's a sad, it's sad with Michael Clark Duncan because he almost looks like a comic book character. Like he's that big, massive presence that Dennis Haysbert just didn't have.
Yeah, Dennis Haysbert is a big man,
but he's no Michael Clark Duncan that looks like, he looks like you just pulled him from a comic book or something.
He already died at this point?
Yes.
Yeah,
okay, well, it's been that long. Okay.
So, all I can imagine watching is, probably would have been a little better maybe with him. And also, I like Josh Brolin, but he's no Clive Owen. I love me some Clive Owen as Dwight.
Okay, I totally agree with that. So, Josh Brolin, this is not a hot take, is a great actor, right?
Yeah.
Josh Brolin is a very good actor, but he also has, I don't know, he's got this energy to him, like he's just a little too good for everything that he's in, right? Like he's just a little above it all, right? Whereas Clive Owen really came across as a real sleazebag as Dwight. And Dwight needs to be a sleazebag. And I agree. Clive Owen definitely played a more believable Dwight. That's a guy who you believe used to hang out in Old Town with all the prostitutes. He's a slimy, Josh Brolin, that's the guy who plays the senator, right? He
he should be more that character.
He's more that character. He's more high status. You just kind of don't believe him as much as like a low status gutter PI like the Dwight character is. I agree. I definitely preferred Clive Owen in that role, even though I love Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
Then the next scene is the first of many times where you'll see Eva Green naked in this movie, and that's Dwight. He follows them back to Ava's home, climbs up on the rooftop, and he's taking pictures of her, and she's swimming in the pool. And then Manute's men ambush him and hold him down, and he's beaten up. And then they toss him out of the limo. And then as he gets home, he's been tossed out of the limo, he gets into his house, and somehow Ava has beaten the goons there, and she's there, and so they end up having a love scene. She gets naked again. So she tells him, yeah, my husband's this abusive piece of crap. You really got to do something for me. And like the whole time you're watching it, you can tell, like, dude, she's obviously setting this guy up. Yeah. He's going to be the patsy. Come on, man. And then at that moment, Manute breaks in again. Dwight punches him, but then he throws him out the window and says, come on, we got to go. So now Dwight goes back to the bar, and this time he asks Marv for help. All right, he's like, okay, you got to help me go rescue my ex-girlfriend. So he gets Marv drunk. He gets him really riled up. They go to the mansion. Marv annihilates everybody as he does. The Marv fight scenes are always great in both films. Marv takes on Manute, where they beat at each other, and then Marv actually knocks Manute out and plucks out one of his eyes, which is why he is missing an eye in the first film. So this is, again, it all interrelates. So then Dwight goes in, finds the husband, confronts him. They get in the fight. The husband pulls a gun on Dwight, but he ends up crushing his throat, killing him. And then Ava shows up and says, how does it feel to kill an innocent man? And he's like, what? I've been set up. No. And then she shoots him, and he falls out the window and is unconscious. And then that's what causes him to then need the plastic surgery later. So Marv grabs Dwight, puts him in the back of the car. Dwight's right eye is like hanging out. He's all messed up. Marv evades the cops, goes to Old Town. And it's the same prostitutes from the first movie, Rosario Dawson. She's like the queen of the prostitute army in Old Town. Goldie and Wendy are there. They're from the first movie. Miho is there. And, so they show up, and then Gail's like, no, Dwight saved my life once, so we got to take care of him. So, like, all of these scenes sound very action-packed, yet, I don't know, man. They're all really boring.
Yeah. Yeah, like, the Dwight story is just not as good as the first movie's Dwight story, and, yeah, the involvement of the Old Town is just not as good. Yeah, we're just left with kind of lesser stories, sadly.
Right. Another, through line that I think's funny is that then Ava starts seducing the cop that's investigating her husband's death, played by Christopher Maloney, and then she is seducing him, and then his partner Bob is like, what are you doing with her? She's a tart. And so he makes him angry, so he kills his own partner and then kills himself. Yeah,
I was distracted by it being Christopher Maloney because he plays Detective Stabler on Law and Order SVU, and I'm a big SVU fan. So I was just like, Stabler, no, the entire time. I could only see Stabler. So I felt that was, I'm
She's
sure that's
leading you to destruction, brother.
Where's Detective Benson? She'll help you. Yeah, so I was a little upset.
So Gail decides to help Dwight get back at Ava. They go to a party where she's conspiring with another mobster played by Stacy Keach, who's been on a million TV shows and stuff. And then Dwight goes, he gets the facial reconstruction, then comes back, and then this is where he looks ridiculous, right? So, literally, he should have been played by another actor, because then at least we would have bought the whole, I still recognize you, even though you had facial reconstruction. But really, yeah, it just looks like he has a little putty on his chin, a little putty on his forehead. He's got kind of a weird haircut, and that's it.
Yeah, so now it should have been Clive Owen at that point.
Got it.
And then, we end up with, this silly prosthetic rolling.
Yeah, that's a shame. So, yeah, he comes back now to launch, his attack. Manute says, I recognize you. So he takes Dwight to Ava's home, where Gail and Miho have gone to kill all the guards before allowing Dwight to reach Ava. Dwight shoots Manute in Ava's pool. Gail throws a bomb and blows it up. And then Ava shoots Manute for good, and then tries to seduce Dwight once again. They kiss one last time before Dwight shoots her. As she dies, Dwight plans to take the back streets with Gail, and they go undetected. So then we conclude the long, bad, goodnight story. And this is a story that once it concludes, I'm like, really? That's the conclusion? So back to Johnny. He got humiliated by his father, got his fingers broken by his father after beating him in a card game. So he goes to see Christopher Lloyd, who's the chief surgeon. And he said only got 40. That was a funny scene where he's like, I need you to fix me up. He's like, well, how much you got on you? He's like, $40. He's like, well, then you'll get $40 worth of fixing. I enjoyed that. So, Christopher Lloyd stitches him up, fixes his hands, and then he returns home to where Marcy should be waiting for him. But once he gets there, he realizes that the goons are there already. They show Johnny that they've killed Marcy, throwing her severed head to him. Rourke says he could kill Johnny, but then laughs maniacally and says, nah, he likes to just torture him. So then Johnny goes to the diner and meets waitress Bertha. I can't believe her name's Bertha, played by Lady Gaga. She gives him $1 out of sympathy. Like, really, that scene only exists for her to give him a glass of water and $1. He then takes that $1 back to the bar, and he's got like some magical power with gambling, puts it in the slot machines, and he wins again until he can kind of build up his pot to go back into the card game. So then he goes back into the card game with Rourke. He's purposely like losing the first few hands to kind of get Rourke, cocky and self-confidence. And then in the end, he beats him again in front of his guys, and he's like, ha ha ha, I beat you in your last card game, and I beat you now. And then Rourke just pulls out a gun and shoots him in the head.
Yeah, this is very anticlimactic. That's what confused me about it. I was like, what the hell's going on right
Yeah, I'm like, he really should have, even if he sacrificed himself in killing Rourke, then you could still consider that a victory. But no, he just walked in, beat him in cards again. It's like, I play cards better than you play cards. And Rourke's like, yeah, fine, whatever. Shoots him in the head, he dies. And I'm like,
He'd be the guy who has people let him win. How good can a guy be? You know what I'm saying? It's insane.
So yeah, that's that story. And then now we come to the last story.
We didn't need that last story. That could have been out.
Oh no, that entire story could come out. Like, there is no dramatic resolution to it.
I don't think it crosses with any other
no,
stories.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't. It's total, and it's one of the ones that's not from the comic book, so it totally does not affect the other plots in any way. And now we've got Nancy's Last Dance, which also was written new for this. So you got Nancy. And she keeps flashing back to John Hartigan, played by Bruce Willis, the cop that saved her when she was a little girl. And she's mad that he killed himself in the first one, if you recall, because he knew that they'd always be coming after him because he killed Rourke's son, Yellow Bastard. He was a great character from the first one. So because Hartigan killed Rourke's son, and he knew that he'd always be hunting him, and Nancy, which was, Rourke's son was in the middle of, he was going to torture and kill Nancy. So Hartigan killed himself so that, the dominoes would stop falling. So now Nancy's grown up. She's, of course, the Jessica Alba character. She keeps dancing in the strip club, even though she's a never nude. She never, got nude.
She could shoot, though.
She could shoot.
She's got good aim, good marksmanship. She's an excellent marksman.
So that her stripper character is a marksman, right? She's got her little guns, and she's like a little cow slinger. But then or cowboy gunslinger. But you also see her go to the range after her shifts and practice. Like, she keeps trying to get up the courage to shoot Rourke because he keeps visiting the club to watch her dance. And so she's got these guns that you presume are prop guns, but they're real guns. And her plan is, when he's sitting there watching my show, I'm going to shoot him, I'm going to kill him. But she just can't bring herself to do it. So one night, it's a really weird scene. She's like performing on stage. She goes back into the dressing room. She's looking at herself in the mirror, and then she smashes the glass in the mirror and she cuts up her face. Do you remember what prompted her to do that?
I don't remember what prompts her to do that. I guess she uses that as to get, Marv or whatever, to get revenge, because it's like, oh, look what they did to me.
Oh, yeah.
But, so I don't know if that was like her initial thought, or if she did that and was like, oh, hey, wait, if I make it look worse. So I guess that
Got it. It wasn't super clear to me. But you're right, she did use her cut face to manipulate Marv to go help her go get Rourke. Poor Marv, dude. Everyone's using him in this movie. Putting him in serious danger every time. So anyway, she convinces Marv to go to Rourke's, and they go and they take out all the guards, as they always do. They go inside. Marv gets wounded. Nancy's like, don't worry, I'll go ahead. And then she's like walking around, and she sees Rourke in a moment, and she shoots him. But it turns out she's seeing a mirror reflection of him, and then he gets the jump on her. And then he's like standing over her, gloating, like, ha ha ha. I got you. He's like, you shot the dick off of my son, and now I'm gonna shoot you in the pussy. Basically, it's a very weird scene. And then, as he's standing over her, gloating her, getting ready to shoot her in the vagina, he sees a reflection of Bruce Willis in the mirror, and in that moment of like confusion, she grabs a gun and shoots Rourke. And then roll credits. Like, this movie immediately ends as soon as she shoots him. There is no denouement. It is just Nancy shot Rourke. Great. Roll credits.
It's over.
This thing.
Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, this is probably the shortest sequels that aren't equal plot summary we have done to date because, there's just not a lot to it. One funny thing that I read that I got kind of a kick out of is that, so they took this film to Comic-Con before it opened to, hype people up. It was a panel with Frank Miller and Robert Rodriguez, who I would have gone over gangbusters in Comic-Con. And one of the things they said was they already had a number 3 lined up and ready to go that was going to star Johnny Depp. And Frank Miller, in like a total jinxing himself move, said, so all you guys got to do is go to the theater and support us, and we'll get a number 3 out of this. And then the movie
Yikes.
just plane into the mountain, tanked, and
Number 8.
And then,
Debuted at number 8. That's insane.
Yeah. So they already had plans to do number 3. I assume they weren't going to wait 9 years the second time around, and then no, it was such a failure that they took it away, and that was Sin City: A Dame to Kill For. Is there anything you would have done differently, Tim?
That's a tough one. I mean, you kind of have to make a sequel at some point, I think. But it definitely should have been done within 3 to 5 years instead of 9 years later.
It was past the shelf date. It was definitely past the shelf date. That is not something that you can sit on for 20 years and do a legacy sequel. You strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah, I don't think the IP on Sin City is too strong, Because, a lot of the characters are limited in their abilities. They're basically a Class C, Class D X-Men. Yeah. So, it's like this is what a Class C, Class D X-Men would feel like. And the sequel, just didn't have the first one was so good. And I don't know why the second one bombed. I mean, it was just that whole Gordon Levitt scene could have gone out. That was a stupid story. The payoff did not, turn out well. And like you said, you just feel sorry for Marv because he's just like, man, everybody does kind of use the poor guy.
Oh, absolutely.
Nobody loves the guy.
No, he's a pawn. Except Goldie. Goldie loved him.
Yeah, Goldie loved him.
That's why he went on the rampage in the first one.
That's right. Damn, Goldie.
Goldie. Dave, do you have any thoughts on how we could have improved Sin City 2?
Not much. I mean, one thing that might have helped, with the Joseph Gordon-Levitt scene is, have it where he ties back to somehow helping Nancy kill Rourke.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, good job.
I think if he's going to die, he has to die in the service of killing Rourke so that he can get some justice. Like, okay, he died, but he killed him. But no, he's just like, shows up to the card games like, haha, I beat you. Gets like shot in the face.
Yeah, it should have been maybe after he's like all busted up and, down on his luck and he's at the nightclub, that maybe him and Nancy then have like a meeting and then that leads to, creating the scheme to get back at Rourke. Like, I think that would have helped.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, she got in trouble for killing a bastard son of his, and she would have got revenge by helping a bastard son of his.
Yeah, look at that.
He had a whole. How did they miss that?
The bastard circle of life.
Yeah.
I think this film needed at least 3 more Eva Green nude scenes. I think it just did not have enough Eva Green.
Not much, man. Yeah, dude. Just pump it up a little bit.
Yeah, get those numbers up. No, I'm not even joking. They're really long. I mean, you got the nude scene at the pool, and you got the nude scene where she seduces Brolin, and there's a lot. A lot of Eva Green in this movie.
Yeah.
No, I mean, honestly, I think we've said it. It should have come out sooner. I haven't read the comic books. Maybe there are other stories there that would have felt a little more connected in the universe that they could have mined instead of coming up with these weaker stories.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really just don't have a lot of input there. It's just these 2 films back to back, it's a fascinating look at how you can have all the right ingredients in the pot and the stew still can come out tasting like crap. Because Sin City 1, Sin City 2 basically have the exact same ingredients in the pot. Stellar cast, same director, same writer, same, visual treatment, everything else the same. And yet one is so universally loved by audiences and critics, and then the other one is just universally panned. Everyone's just like, don't care.
What happened?
What happened? Yeah. It's just one of those things where I don't really think we could have improved it. I think it was just a movie that was in the right place in the right time the first time around, and they just couldn't catch that lightning in the bottle the second time around. Now, legacy IP follow-up to this movie. So I already mentioned that they very much wanted to do a Sin City 3, and that got tanked forever, when the second one just opened so poorly. And then, a little something happened to the Weinstein Company after this. I can't imagine what, that would make it kind of difficult to produce a movie. But there were actually 2 notes about the future of this IP I wanted to discuss. So in 2017, Glenn Mazzara, who was the Walking Dead showrunner, so very talented TV producer, and director Len Wiseman, who's the guy who did the Underworld movies and Live Free or Die Hard and that really terrible Total Recall remake.
Yeah, God, that was trash.
So those guys in 2017 made an announcement that they had acquired the rights to Sin City and that they were going to do it as a TV show, but that it was going to be set in the Sin City universe with none of the original characters. And so they made that announcement in 2017 and literally nothing else after that announcement, like tumbleweeds. From that iteration, and then 2 years later, Legendary Pictures said they made the announcements only that they bought those rights from Mazzara and Wiseman, and that was in 2019. So they now own the TV rights to do a Sin City movie, television project, and nothing has been announced further than that. So this is an IP that might return to our screen someday. I don't think we will get another major motion picture in universe with these first 2, but I think we will get a TV project eventually, maybe, that will be in the Sin City universe, and I don't know, maybe Legendary might actually want to bring back Marv. I don't see why you wouldn't want to bring back some of these beloved characters, obviously with new cast, but, why wouldn't you bring back some of these popular characters? I think it would be terrible. That sounds like a terrible idea, but they've got the TV rights, and, this thing, people, it seems like every couple of years keep buying these rights and seeing, oh, maybe I can do something with it, so we might see Sin City again someday.
I hope so, yeah, because we're getting ready to see Friday the 13th become a TV show, so I'm excited about that. You know why I'm excited about Friday the 13th TV show?
Why is that?
It's being produced by A24. Can you believe that A24 has a Friday the 13th franchise? They're working on the TV show. It's unreal to me.
All right. Well, none of that has to do anything with Sin City 2, but yes.
But A24 do the Sin City TV show. Sure, it'll be great. Sure, it'll be excellent. Why are you laughing?
I think A24 should just take over the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Dude, it would be better. It'll be better than what it is right now,
Ari Aster's Thor.
That's not a bad idea. They should let Ari Aster do a Marvel movie. It would be great. Or give him one of the, like the New Mutants, or one of those side crews. Like Cloak and Dagger, maybe. One of those.
One of those people that no one cares about unless you do a good movie, which is like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy was always C characters, and Sean Gunn. I'm excited about the Sean Gunn DC Universe.
James
Gunn.
Sean's his brother.
Yes, James Gunn DC Universe. Yeah, the guy wrote Tromeo and Juliet, the greatest Troma movie ever made. All
right, and with that, I guess we're going to call it, everyone. Thank you for watching, and please join us next week when we have a new show. We'll see you then.